Hi, it's Leah from Patchwork Picnic, and in today's tutorial we're going to look at tucking in the tails ready for appliqué. This is Curious Jeremy and he's ready to go, so I'm going to show you how to tuck the tails in where the pieces have been already joined together, and then also how to tuck them in when you're wrapping ready for joining.
So I'm going to start with wrapping the diamond. I thread base rather than use glue, which makes tucking as I wrap a little bit more straightforward. I always start with a wide angle rather than a sharp point. Turn the diamond the same way to create neat tails when joined. Now I secure the point, then use either my fingernail or the edge of the needle to fold the tail back on itself and press down to open it out. Then I secure the tail by sewing over the top left and right, which will create a point when pulled tight and stop the tail from poking back out again. I think of it as being a bit similar to wrapping a parcel. So next is the half diamond. This one is a bit trickier as it's so pointy, but in fact you don't need to actually tuck the tails in most of them. Have a look at the pattern to see where they sit, and generally the flat edge is on the outside. So rather than follow the normal rules of turning the same way, instead you can wrap the shape so the tails face away from the edge, so you don't need to actually tuck them in. I'm just using the edge of my needle to gain a crisp fold. You can see both tails now face away from the flat edge, so they won't poke out and get in the way when you're appliquing it. Now I'm going to wrap the triangle. You may not need to tuck all the tails in, so I'm going to wrap the shape first and then go back and tuck in any ones that I need to do. As always, it's important to create a crisp fold. Sometimes you might need to do a couple of folds. Then I sew the sides over the top to hold the tail securely in position. Now it's time for the quarter diamond. Obviously this is getting quite small and fiddly now. You have to work really hard to get it crisply folded so it's as neat and as pointed as possible. on these little edge bits, I'll paint some fray stopper and then trim them off. This one is similar to the quarter diamond, but it's called the larger triangle and it's used for the ear at the back. This needs to be in accurate points, so the tail needs to be tucked away neatly. It's important to see where the very tip of the paper piece is. Using the needle, I fold the fabric over and create a crisp fold. Next, I secure it before using the same process of sewing over the top to keep it in position so it doesn't pop out. For this one and the quarter diamond, like I mentioned, I'll use some fray stopper. You could use a bit of glue or even nail varnish, and then you can just trim those loose threads after it dries. I'm trying to get into the habit of tucking in the ends of my thread into the wrapping so that it's less chance of poking out during or after it's appliquéd. It's quite a nice habit to get into. It just neatens up the back of your work as well. If you're gluing, obviously, you don't have so much of a problem normally, but when you're thread basting, it does get a bit messy back there.
So I've already started tucking in my tails. I'm just going to move it over to where I got to. I'm going to look at this one here. Now, as you can see, I've wrapped it so the tails are pointing away from the edge, which is a fab start. I'm just turning it over. These are the ones I need to tuck in. I'm going to start with this one. Ideally, it is best to open it out, push it down on the top like that so it opens out. This way you get just slightly less bulk, I think. As you can see, it's just going over this edge. We don't want that. So I'm just going to reposition it slightly to the side. So here, I'm just going to thread my needle in underneath. You see, underneath here, right next to the cardboard. By doing this, it means you'll tuck in the end of your thread. Now that will be less likely to stick out when you're trying to appliqué. There it goes. So already that one's tucked in. Okay, so now moving on to the center one. Not much to this one. So what I'm probably going to do is fold this one in over the top to secure that one. Now you can just see that this edge bit is going to poke down. So I'm just going to tuck it all in, go inside to come out. You see, just there. And then tuck that one down there. Okay, and that one's probably going to be enough to secure the whole thing. I'm going to do another one just here as well. Okay, and then I'm going to again put my needle through away from the edge to finish it off. Give it a little snip. Okay, turn that back over. That's worked quite well. So I'll move to this little cluster here. Okay, now this has got quite a frayed edge. So I want to make sure that's very much away from the edge. So I'm just going to push that all the way in there. Go up through here. Okay, and then moving along. Look, it's right on the edge of this corner bit here. We don't want that little frayed bit. I'm actually going to go through this bit here, right on the corner. Just make sure that's right away from the edge. And then I'm just going to secure this bit here. Okay, do a little knot. And then again, feed that through into this one. So the tail is tucked in away from the edge. Also, I'm going to make sure that I just trim off other little ends there. Just give that one there a little line. Okay, now these, because I've wrapped them to make sure that these tails are pointing towards the body, those will quite easily tuck down, as you can see. So actual Jeremy has made an appearance to say hello. I hope you found that tutorial useful, and subscribe, like and comment, and hopefully see you soon. Bye!